Back about 12 or 13 years ago, I was in a place in my life where I thought it was time that I get serious about studying the Word of God. I had been a Christian for many years, but my approach to reading the Bible was to read it with me in the middle, almost like therapy. Instead of reading it with God in the middle, God in His redemptive plan and His glory. So I got involved in inductive Bible study. And at the same time, I discovered the rich resource of podcasts from faithful Bible teachers and preachers. And of course, there was the weekly feeding on the Word of God at church. And I began to see the gospel unfolding all the way from Genesis to Revelation, and how all the parts of the Bible fit together to form a cohesive whole, a redemptive story. And what I discovered was a big God with big purposes. I almost felt like I had been born again. It was a wonderful time of learning. And then, about 2 years ago, I went in for a routine mammogram. It led to the diagnosis of an aggressive form of breast cancer. And until all the tests were done for about 2 weeks, I didn't know if the cancer had spread, or how far it might have spread, or if I was even going to survive. And at that point, I was thankful to already have a theology of suffering. I knew that God was sovereign. I knew my cancer was from His hand and it was for my good. And whatever lie ahead, He was going to grow me up through what I was going to experience. Coming home from one particular doctor's appointment, I was listening to a podcast in the car, and all I remember is hearing these verses from Psalm 16, 5 and 6. The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot. The lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed, I have a beautiful inheritance. And at that moment, those words were such a balm to my soul. I knew I was in His hand, and that was enough. I knew my cancer was what Romans 8 calls the futility of creation, groaning and suffering the pains of childbirth, but anticipating the glory of the freedom of the children of God. Romans 8:18 says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory that is to be revealed to us." In a parallel passage in 2 Corinthians 4 says, "For this slight momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal."